Al-Shabaab, which means the youth in Arabic, controlled much of southern Somalia until Kenyan troops, eventually backed by allies, marched into Somalia on a rainy day in October a year ago. Since then, the extremist group has lost large swaths of territory, and while tanks and troops helped, much of their decline has been their own doing. At the beginning of Operation Lindainchi, the Shabaab launched various attacks on Kenyan troops using IED devices and a spate of grenade attacks on Kenyan soil. The tactic was meant to propagate terror among Kenyans in the hope that they would not support the war. It didn't work. They later resorted to a spate of bombings of churches. The Shabaab's attempt to pit Kenyan Muslims against Christians, which too has failed, with religious leaders and the faithful on both sides calling for unity. And recently, they are trying a new tactic, perhaps the most blatant sign of their desperation: attacking children.
Themselves getting out of Kismayu, yes, they would have this time to be able to plan for their own kind of insurgent attacks inside Somalia and outside Somalia.
But to understand the real threat of the Shabaab, one must look to its beginning. Originally, the Shabaab were the militant wing of the Islamic Courts Union, which was chaired by Sheikh Sharif Sheikh Ahmed, the immediate former Somali president. The Shabaab would later call him a traitor, as massive corruption went on in his government unabated.
When Al-Shabaab, for example, went into Kismayu and Mogadishu, they were seen as a force that would, first of all, was liberating those places from Ethiopians way back in 2007 and 2009. They were less corrupt. They provided the services at that time. Of course, as time continued, the services disappeared.
Abdi Ante is a Somali-American journalist and researcher, and points out that following Ethiopia's invasion in 2007, Al-Shabaab were able to exploit a popular anger among the Somali people as a result of Ethiopia's invasion, eventually forcing the Ethiopians to ingloriously withdraw their forces. As they drew closer to the Al-Qaeda, the organization began terrorizing the same people they claimed they were out to liberate, chopping off hands, stoning people to death, banning TV, music and even bras in their quest to turn Somalia into a radical Islamic state.
The ideology that Al-Shabaab has used for such a long time will continue to stay and will be there for some time. And the reason for this is that a lot of young people who have been captured by this ideology are still there, and therefore the fight in the minds of these young people is something that will need to be undertaken. Delegitimizing the ideology of Al-Shabaab should be something that the Muslim leaders, with the support of the government, not just in Somalia but in the region, and other transnational actors, should work on very seriously.
And this is what is most fearsome: the group's ability to use ideology and morph into a political movement.